Now on the man whose set pulse is racing in Sri Lanka. Murali has broken the record for the number of test wickets taken by a bowler. And here's how he did it. Bowling England's Paul Collingwood for 45. The Sri Lankan spin bowler reached the milestone 709th test wicket during the third day's play at his home ground in Kandy. He then went one better after that, adding Matthew Hoggard as number 710 to finish with 6 for 55 in England's 281 all out. Takes the crown from retired Australian bowling legend Shane Warne. Do you remember him? Well, Murali's unique bowling style is one of the most talked about action in the world of cricket. So what's the secret of the spinner's success? Here we go. The aspect of his bowling which has caused controversy in the past is the way his arm appears to be bent at the elbow when he releases the ball. There you go. A birth defect means Murali can't fully straighten his elbow, prompting claims he was throwing or chucking the ball. However, scientific tests proved his action was within the legal limit of 15 degrees. But what's so amazing about Murali's action is his wrist. Double joints make him uniquely flexible. This has two main impacts. First, he's able to flick a ball out of this hand with such an exceptional range of motion. He gets the ball to spin prodigiously, it says here. Secondly, his wrist bends so far back it helps to disguise the position of his fingers on the ball, so the batsman can't predict what's coming his way. Well, physio Semi Margot joins us now in the studio, as you can see. Thank you for joining us on Afternoon Live. You brought a friend with you.
I brought the arm. This is the humerus, and this is the forearm, which is made of the radius and the ulna, and this is the elbow. And the interesting thing in this particular case is that he was born with this congenital abnormality, which means, unlike you and I, who can fully straighten our elbows, he can only straighten his elbow to about this position.
Why?
That because of this congenital abnormality. He was born like that. So it's slightly more bent. It's not really a problem. Some people have got bent elbows. But what that means, as
everybody at home's doing this now, aren't they, to see whether their arms straight or slightly bent. Okay, so we can bend our arms like this. His is slightly more bent.
His is slightly bent. Now what this means in real terms is your body adapts, and to make up for the lack of movement in the elbow, he's got this helicopter or rubber wrist, so his wrist becomes excessively mobile. So unlike your wrist that can do that, his wrist can do all these amazing helicopter kind of movements, which allows him to deliver the ball with immense spin and unpredictable directions.
And they can't see where his fingers are.
Indeed.
Presumably that's going to mean arthritis though when he's older.
Well, it's going to mean arthritis as much as you may get arthritis in your wrist. That's normal for him because his elbow is slightly shorter and tighter, and his wrist is a little bit more mobile to make up for what's not going on in his elbow.
Will that be the same in his other hand as well?
No, because his other arm is normal and straight, and it's being cleared as being a legal elbow, legal enough to deliver the balls that he's delivering.
Is that sort of?
It's incredibly uncommon.
Shouldn't call it a problem, really. It's anything but a problem.
No, it's an advantage. In this case, it's a massive advantage. Ordinarily, this would be a potential problem, but as far as he's concerned, he's using it to his advantage. And obviously, he's incredibly skilled and talented. With this thrown into the mix, with his tight elbow and hypermobile wrist, this has allowed him to achieve what he's achieved.
And it won't cause him any problems in later life? There's nothing that you think, oh, actually, because that happens, this is going to happen to him later on?
It's unlikely, but the glory of the current record being broken will certainly outweigh any minor problems he might have later on in his life.
And can you train your wrist to be a helicopter wrist?
There's a limit as to how far your wrist will go. In terms of a normal wrist movement, this is the kind of normal wrist movement that you can carry out. I've got quite a mobile wrist because I'm a physio, but you can actually work on stretching the wrist to make it more bendy in all directions, but there's a limit as to how far it will go because I've got a normal elbow and I've got a normal shoulder. But in his case, he's been able to train his wrist so that it can actually do things that are beyond the realms of normality.
These are the tests that we saw that he was having. Oh, that really looks as though it hurts, doesn't it? I know it doesn't, but these sort of tests, what would they illustrate, do you think?
What the test would specifically illustrate would be how far the wrist itself could actually be going, and as to whether what he's doing is a legal throw. And I think they're specifically focusing on the angle of the elbow specifically, just to ensure that he's not chucking the ball, that it's a legal bowl, and he's been cleared, both in Hong Kong and Australia by biomechanical analysts. But when you look at it, it's amazing what he's doing. It's this really obscure helicopter or rubber wrist.
And you're saying it's not that common, but it won't cause him problems later on.
Indeed not, it won't.
Good for him. And now he's got more wickets in Test cricket than anybody else. We'll send him our congratulations, won't we? Thanks so much indeed, Sammy Margo. We very much appreciate your time. And thanks for bringing in your friend as always. We appreciate that.